Today on Motorz, Chris is getting our F-150 wrapped.
Presented by AMP Research.
Way back in season 1, our 5th episode in fact, I showed you how I covered the sides of our 2005 F-150 project truck with die-cut vinyl using my own vinyl cutter and software. Now, while it's possible to do this with minimal cost, assuming you have access to a vinyl cutter, your design choices are fairly limited to the colors and patterns made by the vinyl companies. Now, our F-150 gets a lot of visibility, both on the show and on the road. So after a couple years, when those old vinyl decals started peeling up, I started looking into some other options. Of course, I considered just putting some new ones on, but I want to do something bigger and better this time. So I also looked into a custom paint job, but the number of hours with everything I wanted done really started adding up. Now, it was about that time I started looking into custom vehicle wraps. Now, thankfully, here in San Diego, we have one of the earliest companies to start doing vehicle wraps, and they're right here. Now, they're called APE Wraps, and it's family owned and operated by Mr. Troy Downey. Welcome to the show, Troy.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Now, how'd you get started with all this? You're like a pioneer with vehicle wraps and all the techniques for applying them. So how does it all start?
We come from the custom paint and car world. I grew up growing up with my dad. Is that we were all about that paint and all that hot rod stuff. And you know, the day I saw the digital picture of the bag of groceries on the delivery truck is the day I thought, wow, now I can start doing all the things that we could never either afford to do in paint in time and or, you know, it would never ever turn out as incredible as being able to digitally print it.
Yeah, there's no limit to what you can do there.
So. We were like a kid in a candy store. So anyway, here we are, a full circle and just loving it.
Yeah.
It's a great
well,
industry.
Our viewers are probably wondering where the heck we are, because this isn't the Motorz studio.
Great
so where
question.
are we, man?
Well, we are at Seiko Instruments. Seiko, the watch company?
Yep.
Same place. But they make the printers also that we convert all these graphics with.
Right.
So we printed your graphics on a Seiko printer.
Well, Troy, I really want to get that big old wrap on the truck, but right now we've got to take a break. So when we come back, I've got a ton of questions for Troy, but that I know you guys want answers to.
E3 Diamond Fire spark plugs are the most powerful spark plugs you can buy. They deliver a more complete fuel burn, more power, better economy, and reduced emissions. E3 Diamond Fire spark plugs at auto parts and lawn and garden stores everywhere.
Hey, welcome back to Motorz. Now I'm here with my special guest, Troy Downey from APE Wraps, and we're about to put a huge wrap on our F-150. But before we get to that point, what do we have to do to the truck first?
Well, we got to prep it, Chris. Preparation is everything. If we're going to put a decal on a surface, it's got to be squeaky clean.
Right.
Okay, so, but there's more that comes with that, is everybody can clean the field, okay? Anybody can do that. But with the right chemistry and all of that, not only do we want to clean the field of the body, but we want to clean all the nooks and crannies. If it's going to fail, adhesion, we're going to lose adhesion. Most likely, we're going to lose adhesion in those nooks and crannies. So a lot of attention needs to be paid to that. Okay, further, as far as preparation is concerned, is there's a lot of ways to skin this cat. We'll actually debadge a good percentage of the vehicles that we do, especially when it comes in conjunction with maybe a termination point or something to that effect. Like what we're going to do on this truck is we're going to do this as a partial.
Right.
And it actually comes in conjunction with a pinstripe line.
Okay.
So by all means, we needed to debadge this truck. Does everyone have the capabilities of debadging? No. So I would make sure that whoever is debadging knows what they're doing.
Well, Troy, thanks for the brand new truck. I mean, we brought it in there this morning, and a couple hours later, boom.
There
it's
it
all
is.
done up. I know, this is incredible.
That's simple, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I know there was a lot of planning and preparation that went into this, some collaboration back and forth in the graphics, you know, telling you kind of what I wanted, and then you turning it into this incredible design. So I think we should let everybody have a look at what that was all about. Since I had some Photoshop skills, I took a level photo of the truck, then started playing around with some basic ideas. I started with a metal texture, added the Motorz logo, the Craftsman logo, and then some tools. Now, Troy then came up with a slightly different interpretation to stir up more ideas. Now, I wanted to keep the metal texture, so I sent him some metal artwork I had purchased along with the logos and tool images. His first step was to pull up the vehicle blueprints for the specific year, make, and model of the truck. Then he started laying down a final design for my approval. A side graphic was added, then the pinstripe, the Motorz logo, and a domain name, and finally the Craftsman tool and logo. After the side was finalized, the tailgate came together quickly. We went back and forth on a few details a couple of times, but Troy really nailed the vision for what I wanted quickly, so it wasn't long before it was off to the color printer and onto the truck. Well, Troy, we just saw a little bit about the design process that we went through, but how do we get that onto the truck? What's the next step?
Well, at this point, we've got to pick the media.
All right.
Okay, prior to printing, we've got to select a media that is going to have the outdoor durability, the clean removability, and in most cases, you're going to use a cast type of vinyl. That is considered the higher end vinyl. It is more expensive than all the other stuff, but it's the only way to fly when it comes to a vehicle wrap.
Right, and is there a particular brand that we're going to be using?
Well, in this case, we're going to use Avery Dennison's EZRS with their clear gloss laminate.
All right, now how do we get everything onto that media?
Now it's time to take it to the color painter. So we got to get the stuff out, the information out of the computer and onto the printer.
Okay, and what does this thing look like?
Okay, this is a big old printer, and let's take a look at it.
Now, Troy, I'm looking at this media, and I'm wondering, does this need to be covered with anything, or is it good to go right out of the printer like this?
Well, in some cases it is, but not for vehicle wraps.
Okay.
Vehicle wraps, it has to be laminated. So like we were talking earlier, it is a cast media that it's printed on, and now we're going to put a cast gloss laminate over the top of it.
Okay.
And that's going to give us 4-year outdoor durability with 4-year clean removability.
Now, what are the advantages or disadvantages of a wrap over paint?
That's a good question as well, is there's a time and a place for both, okay? This wrap thing has really taken hold out here. From a personalization standpoint, wraps are a form of instant gratification when it comes to customizing your truck or your car or something to that effect. But even more so is that gratification comes from the advertising entity, like, you know, it's Motorz TV on the side of this truck. You know, it goes for all of these big companies going up and down the highways. There's a time and place for paint, and paint is second now.
And the other difference, too, is if you change your phone number or your domain name or something else, you can just replace a section
Push,
or
pull,
the
click,
whole thing.
click.
Now, do we have to wrap the entire vehicle, or can we just do a portion of it? Now, I noticed we did ours just up to the top of the door here, but...
Well, you know, this is considered a partial.
Okay.
Even though we did the matte finish up top and all that, we just did that to be fancy. It's very current right now and that kind of thing. But
oh, yeah, it looks nice.
you can get as much impact out of a partial as you can a full wrap. Now, back when we started, 100% of the vehicle wraps that came out of our shop were full wraps. We didn't know any better either. And so the partial, if designed correctly, is going to always do as much impact or have as much impact as a full wrap would. And, you know, taking this is, where else am I going to go with Motorz TV on the side of this to be bigger than than it is? So consequently, I think that it fits into the budget better, and at the end of the day, it's just less expensive.
Yeah, it's easier to swap out, and as you can see here, it looks perfect.
Yeah.
Now, when I first gave you the design that I had envisioned for this truck, I had this metal texture going all the way up to the roof, and you said, no, let's not do that. So obviously there's some design limitations. So depending on the vehicle, I would assume, what are we working with?
Sure. Well, with your truck is pretty straightforward, but that's the transition areas. I've seen a lot of vehicles out there that have this texture or types of texture that go all the way up. The thing is, though, is we're talking about separate components, the side versus the hood. And then we have a radius fender on this. So we got a radius the side graphic up over to the hood. Could we have done it? Yes. Is it cost effective? No.
Well, everybody wants to know what it costs.
Well, the design is the most important thing. It's got to be clear and concise. It takes time to get that done. And time is money. And making sure that that designer is on her or his game.
Right.
So that is a variable
Right.
from a cost perspective. As far as materials are concerned, that type of thing, that's pretty consistent. Okay, so when I use terminologies $2-4 grand and those kind of things, those are ballparks.
So a lot of our viewers, unfortunately, aren't in San Diego. So where would they go to get a quote or even have the thing installed? How's that work?
Well, ironically, we probably only do, and I'm guessing probably only do 2% of our work in our own backyard.
Yeah.
We ship stuff all over the world. So as far as an install network, I've got a vast install network.
Now, I saw you guys putting the vehicle wrap on. It looked pretty simple. Is this something that our viewers can do, or is this best left to the pros?
Well, the material is really forgiving now. But are you willing to risk $500, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 a graphic on you to be on a learning curve?
Yeah, wrong cut, you drop it on the floor, it's over. Yeah.
Really, my guys will take care of it.
Yeah. The other thing I noticed too is on like door handles and stuff like that, there is some serious technique to getting that right.
Yeah,
So.
that's an exercise in bleeding.
Well, Troy, let's talk about maintenance now. Just like a new paint job, it's inevitable. That first week, I'm going to get this thing dinged or scratched. What do I do?
Okay, first week, no problem, we can replace it. Okay, the key is though, is the first week, I don't want you to do anything to it, but get it out in the sun and let it cure.
Now, for people that don't have it on their entire vehicle, it's just a partial, and maybe they've got some paint exposed, is there anything they need to worry about, fading or anything with that?
That's all part of that. Paints are pretty good today. When you take it after 3 or 4 years, you're going to see a color shift. But anywhere you come from, they can take that color fade out.
And what about care of the vinyl itself? Should I wax it, avoid waxing, and the matte as well?
Matte is a very special product.
Yeah.
And it requires a lot of attention. And like white, you just look at it and it's dirty. But for all of the gloss laminates that we do use, is by all means, hand wash only. Don't run them through car wash.
Okay.
Hand wash it and wax it. Okay, this stuff's gonna last 4 to 5 years, max, on vertical surfaces. If it's looking at the sun, it's not gonna last more than a year, year and a half.
Yeah.
So all the vertical sides, you're gonna last 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah. Car cover helps too, right?
Oh, yeah, if everybody would do that.
Yeah. I came up with the idea of using the first Craftsman logo from 1927, recreating it specifically for only this truck. So I called it my friend Steve Smart at Billet Badges, who's created many badges for our past project vehicles. He delivered with this custom one-of-a-kind emblem crafted from billet aluminum and hand-painted to spec.
Hi, I'm Nate with Sears Tools. Let me tell you about the Blue Tool Crew. We know tools. With over 400 national brands and over 30,000 products, we can help you find the tools you need. Shop with us at your local store, online at sears.com/tools, or with the latest Sears Tools catalog. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. And if you have any questions, give us a call at 877-4BLUE-CREW.
Parts. Brought to you by Craftsman at Sears.
A valuable tool you should have in your tool chest is a heat gun. They're super versatile and come in handy for a number of projects, such as heat shrink tubing for your electrical, stripping paint, bending plastics, softening adhesives, or even working with giant vehicle decals. The one we use in our shop is the granddaddy of them all. It's the Craftsman Professional 27801 heavy-duty corded heat gun. It features a powerful 1500 watt output and electronic control. Its variable heat dial on the back gives you 3 airflow options to keep you in control of the heat, which outputs air at temperatures ranging from 120 degrees Fahrenheit all the way up to 1050. Now that is hot. A typical hairdryer shuts off at about the temperature this one starts. It includes 6 LED temperature range indicators as well as the 5/16" reduction nozzle. Pick one up today at your local Sears store or shop online at Sears.com. If you've got a truck or SUV, you know there's just a ridiculous number of aftermarket options available to you. It could really be overwhelming, especially if you're a new vehicle owner and you're also considering all your other options for wheels, tires, exhaust, intake, steps, and everything else. Well, let me save you a whole lot of time right now for at least one of those, your new steps, because I've personally had them on every truck I've ever owned, including the Motorz project truck. I'm talking about the AMP Research Power Step, of course. This is the coolest aftermarket product you can get, too, because they're retractable and automatic. So every time you open up your door, they extend down. You close your door, and they retract right back up and tuck away so you can barely see them. They even have an optional stainless steel trim kit and lights that illuminate the entire running board at night. They're well engineered, they look great, they come with a 5-year, 60,000-mile warranty, and they're made right here in the USA. Now, we've got more information as well as videos on how to install them right at our website, so step to it. Are you envious of those cars that offer hands-free keyless entry and push-button start systems, and don't you wish you could easily add one to your own vehicle? Well, as usual, the aftermarket has come to your rescue. The new To-Go Keyless automotive product line from Digital Guard Dog offers a system that looks and works just like the OEM push-button start system from Lexus. The system is operated by a slim credit card style i.e. transponder with RFID technology. Keep it in your pocket or your wallet, and as soon as you get within a few feet of your vehicle, your doors unlock. Now walk away and they automatically lock. It also includes a full feature alarm with available remote start. Now with this system, your keys are a thing of the past. You can also choose from over 20 different push start buttons, including most OEM styles. Now what happens if the battery on your iKey dies or you lose it? Well, they also provide an emergency bypass card that lets you back in. Now, both systems are available for cars, trucks, motorcycles, hot rods, and even boats. Visit the parts page on our website for more information. When you add more horsepower to your engine, you also need to consider what other parts in your vehicle might need to be upgraded as a result. Of course, you should look at your drivetrain, but don't forget about the engine itself. A simple replacement part can make a huge difference, and that's exactly the case with this aftermarket damper called the fluid damper from Horschel Motorsports. Also called a harmonic balancer or harmonic damper, the fluid damper uses a silicone fluid inside instead of 2 pieces of metal with a rubber strip between them to lessen torsional vibration and absorb more impact from the crankshaft. Now, unlike the rubber strip, this fluid will never break down. Plus, you'll have the advantages of a smoother idle, less vibration, and less wear and tear on your engine. The fluid damper is available for a wide range of both gas and diesel engines. Now, check out the parts page at our website for more information.
Letters, brought to you by E3 Spark Plugs. Born to burn.
Hey guys, before we get to our letters, I want to congratulate Jason Palmer from Texas. His 2005 Ford Mustang GT recently won our monthly rides contest, so he gets a Motorz branded Covercraft car cover thanks to Covercraft and Catskin. Now on to our first letter. Lee writes, I've wanted to lower my 2011 Mustang. After watching your episode on lowering a Mustang, I felt I could tackle the job. With the help of your show and factory manual, it couldn't have been any easier. Well, thanks a lot, Lee. That's what the show is all about, giving you the advice and tips to kind of get started, but it's always wise to seek additional information online or with those owner's manuals. Got another letter from Andre. He writes, hello there, Chris. Great show. I'm currently in Japan and would love to rebuild a Japanese engine. Will you go more in depth on foreign cars and engines? Well, Andre, we don't have any plans to rebuild one of those, but the best thing to do is check out our engine rebuild series on our Chevy Small Block. It's a total of 5 episodes. We got one more coming up. That gives you the basics. And then find a rebuild manual that will tell you everything else that you need to know. And finally, Brandon writes and says, I'm 13 years old and love working and learning about cars, especially Dodges and Fords. Do you guys have any tips for me? Well, Brandon, I highly recommend you watch Motorz. We've covered quite a few Fords over the last 5 seasons of the show. And you also want to check out the owner's manual of the vehicle that you're working on. Online forums are also helpful. And don't forget about those shop classes at school. Now, I want to thank Brandon and everybody else for sending in your letters. You guys get free E3 spark plugs for your ride. Now, to find out more about their Diamond Fire technology or to find out if they're available for your vehicle, just head on over to e3sparkplugs.com. Well, Well, Troy, this turned out awesome. We've got our huge Motorz logo on the side. Everybody's going to see that. And this turned out way better than I could have done myself. So thank you very much. Now, is there anything else that we need to let people know about?
Yeah, I think we needed to cover, what if you got in an accident?
Right.
Okay, so let's assume, God forbid it happens, in 6 months you blow the bed off this thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I would just replace the bed.
Okay.
Let's say the same thing happened in
further
2
on down the
years.
road,
Yeah, 2 years down the road, you're gonna have some element of fading. At that point, we're gonna replace the side, the whole side. The beauty of this is the design's already done.
Right.
Okay, so 2 years down the road, it's literally, that's when it becomes just pushing a button.
Yeah, push a button, print it out.
Yeah.
Put it on.
Yeah, so whether you're here in San Diego or you're in Nova Scotia,
Right.
it's 6-1/2 dozen or nothing.
Right.
Digital information.
Cool. So where can people go to, or what do they do to get a hold of you?
Well,
What's the best way?
you know, we're APE Wraps, as in gorilla, okay? APE Wraps. And best probably just to email. I see everything that comes over our desks, info@apewraps.com. And let me know what you got, what you guys need, and we'll explore it and figure out what's best.
Okay. I noticed there's an acronym here for APE. It's not really an ape. It's an
Actually,
acronym.
we've got all these different paint enterprises, auto paint equivalent,
Yeah.
you name it.
Yeah. Insert
Pick
your
one.
own. Yeah, pick one or make up your own.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for helping out with the wrap. This turned out awesome, and
Thanks,
obviously
Chris.
I couldn't have done this myself, so can't thank you enough. So
My pleasure.
So are you going to say it now?
No. You say it. I've already
you're
said
gonna
it.
say
You
it.
say it.
All right,
No, you go
fine.
ahead.
Hey, it's a wrap. Now, for more information on all the products that we used in this episode, just head on over to our website. We'll catch you guys next week on Motorz.
Today on Motorz, Chris is getting our F-150 wraps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be funny if all of a sudden I had a grill or something? I was like, yeah.
F-150 wraps. MTV.
Okay, now grab one of those magnets behind you. Okay, now put it back on the metal part of the truck.
Here?
Okay, go
What are
ahead.
you talking about?
You're already grounded, so I was gonna have you shock yourself.
It's a wrap. For more information.
Yeah, it sounds a little rats.
Okay, we're done with the wrap.
Yup.